Got it. Because we are a smaller group, I'm going to just not use my presentation and talk about the purpose of this round table is to do some reflection over and discussion over our implementation of storyline at the teacher education. We're looking at some similarities and differences of implementing possibly at the college level for storyline teacher educators and implementing at a school level for that. I'll be giving the questions. I will also probably answer some of the questions too, or be part of the discussion. But in order for us to keep everybody's voice available, I may be stopping people that we like to talk. So I'll be also the moderator so that we don't talk too much one person. If you're in here, the gallery view is the best so that you can see who's speaking. The only issue will be that it'll always be storyline team when one of the individuals speaks because we have one microphone that's in the group room besides myself and Johan. We are in two different rooms. So we'll start off with introducing who we are as a team. I'll start with myself. I'm Gini Lockhart-Pedersen of Virginia, work at the National Center for Language of English and Foreign Languages, but I also work with teacher education at the college, University College of Halden in Halden. And this year and last year was the project coordinator for 5 to 10, the teacher educators that are teaching students that will be 5th grade to 10th grade. Okay, oh, and a little bit of my experience, sorry, I've been in Storyline in this project for several years and have also, as a junior high teacher, done Storyline in the classes. Okay, I'll go on. Camilla, you're going to start with the next.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm Camilla Blikstad Halstvedt, and I'm a science teacher educator. I work here at Teacher Education, and I have been in the Storyline group since 2019, and both done it here on campus and digitally. And I've also been out in, tried it for a week out in early childhood education, 1st grade.
Well, then from Camilla, we're going to Hanne.
Yes, my name is Hanne Pilskog. I'm also in the natural science teaching for teacher students and kindergarten students. My background is I have a PhD in ecology. That's true for Camilla as well. So we have kind of the same background. And my experience with Storyline is that I've also been working with the Storyline from, well, we ran the first one in 2019, but we worked for like 1.5 to 2 years to make that here at, and only here at the University College. But I do have quite a lot of experience with role playing from something called LARP, live action role playing. So I have some relation to this with how playing characters can bring a lot of experiences. Yeah.
Kristine?
Yes, my name is Kristine, and I'm also educated as school teacher, and I've been carrying out Storyline both in primary and secondary school and now in teacher education. And I've been leading the Storyline team group for, since it started. So I'm going to say a little bit more about that later on.
Gitte?
I'm Gitte Motzfeldt. I'm teaching social science and geography, and also part of the team from 5 to 10 grade here, and have been doing Storyline since 2019.
Ragnhild?
Okay, I am Ragnhild Nesje, and my background is a teacher, and I teach in Norwegian, and I have been a part of this team since 2018. 17. No, 18. I came a year later. And I teach at 1 to 7th grade for teacher education.
And then Johan.
Yes, so hello, my name is Johan, and I'm teaching mathematics, mostly for teacher students at for grades 5 to 10. And I've done one digital Storyline. That was my first. And then now I've also done one in real life. And I've been happy to join this team. It has been kind of a new part of education to join Storyline, a different work method. So that has been interesting.
Good, good. Okay, we're going to start with, we have kind of divided into two types of questions. First is our implementing and planning of a storyline at the college level. And then the second half is our own professional development using Storyline. So first question, what are some of the positive experiences you have had as a teacher educator while planning and implementing Storyline at the college? And I think we'll focus on just one, or one may mention one of your positive experiences.
But Gini, were we supposed to drop the first?
Oh, I did.
Oh, it's okay for me.
Right on. No, I have it on my list. I just hopped over you. Christina, please present us. Please.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Gini. It has been quite an adventure the last decade, working with incredible creative and passionate colleagues at Høeg University College. I actually feel empowered being part of such a stimulating environment due to these knowledgeable women and men in this team. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the origin of how this team, how we came to do Storyline at Høeg University College, a little background for this huge group we have been. So it actually started back in 1998 when I was a student teacher at what is now named Oslo Metropolitan University. So my mom, Ellen Høeg, a former school teacher, which some of you know, had been presented for a Storyline approach a couple of years earlier due to the new curriculum in Norway, emphasizing cross-curricular learning and teaching. And she introduced me to Storyline and inspired me actually to experiment with Storyline as part of my upcoming placement practice. And I think I was 21 or something. And I was actually sold. The learning, for me, it had it all. Activating in-depth learning, including body, mind, and emotion. And it was creative, it was innovative, and it was competence focused or subject focused. And after completing 4 years of teacher education, a new reform took place in Norway in the wake of Bologna and Pisa. And all of you probably know the story of what happened to the creative and cross-curricular approaches to teaching the next two decades. In large, it disappeared. And Norwegian schools were not an exception to the new era of new public management and teach to the test. So after 1.5 years of teaching, I think it was, in headwind, I don't know if you can say so, continuing insisting on alternative ways of learning, applying Storyline and all sorts of creative methods, I decided to go back to the university with one goal, namely, in the future, to educate teachers who will make a difference in school. So teachers who, independency of policy and reforms, are able to make use of a range of approaches to teaching and learning, and who will make school matters for children, so to speak. So after 8 years, or 8 years later, and 2 more children, I had a master and a PhD in pedagogy. And I was employed at the teacher education here at Høeg University College in 2013. And I was eager, or I could almost not wait for my mom to retire, because I knew that I needed her to fulfill my goal, because I didn't have the expertise I needed to carry on with, or to continue the work on Storyline, which was my goal. So 2 years later, when she retired in 2015, she came 1 week to Halden and Østfold University College, and we carried out our first storyline for, I think it was 110 student teachers studying to teach grade 5 to 10. And it was not perfect, and we did not have the resources, and it didn't get as we had planned. But that year, we started up something that would grow and become one of the largest professional communities of researchers of storyline within teacher education around the world. And of that, I am proud and I am blessed, and we have actually had so much fun, and of course a lot of work, and there has been a lot of challenges, but gradually more subject teachers at Østfold University College were included in this community over the years, and Gini, my dear colleague and now also friend, came along in 2016, and together we planned and carried out a new storyline with Gunhild that same year. And so Ragnhild, our excellent Norwegian teacher, mother tongue teacher, I don't know how to say it, together with colleagues from the Department of Mathematics, took storyline into the program for student teachers studying to become primary school teachers. And then Gitte, Hanne, and Camilla, 3 marvelous teachers, came along in 2018, and we carried out the first storyline together with them in 2019. And from that time, we have been carrying out 2 storylines each year, almost. We had a pandemic, and I don't know what happened. We did it digitally, I think.
We didn't, because it was too early.
Yeah, that's true. It was cancelled. Yes, it was.
2020, that the pandemic came exactly the same day as we started.
Yeah, we had to cancel it. Yes.
Yeah, Norway was closed down.
Yeah.
And it was that pandemic, the fall after that, that Johan came in the digital. Right?
Yeah. Wow. So we have grown, and we are doing a lot of really interesting things. This winter, for example, we have applied a research council in Norway for a project. I think it's a total budget of nearly 20 million Norwegian kroner. And we have also actually started a new research group on storyline with Hanne as the leader. So there has been an exciting adventure and a trip, and I'm looking forward to continue working with this approach to teaching and learning and teacher education. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kristine. And it's fair to say that we discuss as a group a lot about storyline and implementation. So this panel discussion has been discussed several times in different situations, but we'd like to also share what we are thinking and what we're doing and our experiences. And that's what this panel discussion is about. So then I'll go into the first question is, what are your some of the positive experiences you've had? And actually, instead of experiences, we've decided to say choose one and talk about that. Is there anybody that wants to start with that?
Yeah, I can start sharing one positive experience that I feel strongly, and that is to experience interdisciplinary work here in the teacher education setting, and then part of that interdisciplinary work is reflecting through these themes. It's very rewarding way of working, and not only continuing with your own subject, but also open up to this interdisciplinary experience with the great team. Yes.
Someone want to add?
Well, I can add that to me, as a science teacher, science has quite a small place in Norwegian schools. So I always look for an interdisciplinary way of being meaningful as a subject. So, and now we have this new curricula, which is a lot of interdisciplinary topics. So storyline to me is a method to do that. Yeah.
I would also like to add getting to know my colleagues better, because normally you work quite tightly with the others in your own subject, but you don't get to know the other teachers. So through this storyline, we become a real team. And I've learned so much by seeing my colleagues teach and seeing it through a storyline, the different ways you can engage students and engage in a story. So that has been great.
Yeah, I also think it's nice to get to know one's colleagues, and we have really become quite a big team by now. I mean, in fact, from maths, there's one more, so we really, in total, like 10 at least. And also, I think through storyline, we have this common goal that we want to make the story as great as possible, and everyone wants to help each other to make it good as a big picture. Everything should fit together, so we are collaborating well.
Interesting.
I think I would add the students, because we get to know the students from another perspective. We get to see what they think, and we also get to be exemplary teachers for the students who are to become teachers in school.
Yeah, I would also like to add the student and experiencing student teachers in the flow, totally committed to the task, is so valuable. But and might also actually the student teacher whom I might thought was more demotivated or even negative in the beginning of the project, and experiencing how they came to grow during storyline. And coming to embrace the approach, maybe. Yeah.
We get to get very, I mean, we know the students much better after done the storyline, because that helps us in the further work with the students. So it's much easier to get to know them while working in the storyline.
I'd like to add that I have this positive feeling of having fun. The students that, pupils say that about storyline, and students say about, but actually as a team, I have not had as often so many times where we're just laughing and having fun, putting on the costumes, trying that, and that discussion of having fun is a real positive thing that drives me to want to do it and continue. Also, so now we're going to be changing into the challenges, because it's not to shy away at that it's not all just wonderful. I think we could talk very long about the positive, but we're also going to look at the challenges. So what challenges have you experienced, and possibly mention one to go deep in? Start with that. We'll start with the challenges, and then we'll go further on another question on that. Anybody want to start?
I can start. Well, there are challenges, and I think one of the challenges that there are too many chefs in our team. So by that I mean we are from different subjects, and we have a quite strong connection to that subject. So everyone have all these great ideas and want to have their subject into the storyline in a specific way, maybe about specific themes, and then the storyline can't be everything. So we have to, steer it in some directions, and then we can have some discussions about that. So it's a bit, sometimes you have to kill your darlings to making the story better and include everyone. So that is one of the challenges, that when we meet, the storyline often changes because there are so many ideas. So yeah, but we have we've been doing a lot of development in the storyline I'm part of. So that is some of the problem, that we haven't landed all the big changes. So every year we have made major changes, and then we have too many chefs. Yeah.
So it was easier when I was the only chef. No, that's also I follow you on that. And one challenge I see is that it takes time for a team to develop the competence needed to carry on a storyline, and also for all the team members to understand what storyline is, with all its all its
Elements.
elements and all its key questions and subject loop I thought along the years that when we just carried out the storylines, eventually everyone would know what the storyline is. But what we have experienced the last year is that we don't actually have time to dig into what storyline is, because we are so busy just developing the storylines we are going to carry out. So that's one of the things we hope to manage now that we have a storyline research group, that we actually have time during the storylines to evolve and develop the needed competence and dig into the storyline as an approach. So and that everyone equip oneself with the core means. So that's one challenge, and because storyline is a very complex method or approach, and it takes time to learn it and to know what it is actually. So, yeah.
I would like to add on challenge that I particularly have been thinking of since we did the one in 2019. It was actually better this year, I think. It's the activity trap, which is that the activities gets much of the attention, and the sort of the competence and the subjects more disappears in the story. So the activities are the time consuming, and it's very maybe too much activities. So I felt that we did better this year. There's not so many activities, but activity trap is a thing we should continue to be aware of.
Maybe you should just make an example of what you mean with activities, so they understand.
It's that the activities we did in the one händelse, what's that? One happening are so many, so that students are rushing from activity to activity, and that the subjects and the learning
just
so it's disappearing a bit more than I would like to see, at least.
Can I add to that? Because that right there also shows the push and pull we have at the college level, because we have also, it's the subject learning. We don't have time to go into it. And yet we at the college level want to show them different events on how to introduce events. We want to show them different. So, we have this push in a very short time to teach them storyline as a method and give them experience, and yet also do time to look at the subject, reflect on the subject, and so we're right there in that activity trap versus a teacher education method, trying to teach them the method, and where does that what focus are we going to have, or emphasis is the right word.
One thing I would say is that I think because we are teacher educators, meaning we are both teachers and we are researchers, and we are thinking about what's happening here at the campus with the students. We go out to the schools, we talk to the teachers in schools, we do things with the students in school, and we are researchers at the same time. So I think we have too many agendas going on at the same time, and we make things maybe more complicated than they need to be. So visiting Backatorp school on Friday, I saw that these teachers, they do it more in, I see they do it in the same way. They have some really nice steps they follow. I think they make it more simple, the story and everything, and we do too much at the same time. So we need to be more.
So I think it was Ragnhild, she said earlier when we talked about the discussions, she said, or the round table discussions, she said, do we need to do all this research all the time? I want to do a storyline without research, and
I really do.
And I think it's
I really do, because and it's also something as the genre, because we say we have a storyline, but what is a story? And with all these activities, with all these key questions, with all this, with the students, and we also tell the students that with some small, you can just put it out in the classroom.
With some small adjustments.
With some small adjustments,
that's not true.
and we experienced that wasn't really true, because we are used to working with adults, and we can do things in between. And when we do these small things in between, we also lose the focus on the student. And if you do that in the classroom with first grade, 5 or 6 year old, then you lose the class. You really lose the pupils, and I feel I lose the story. What is a story?
But I think the research has been important.
Definitely.
Because we have to legitimize what we are doing, and we
Absolutely.
have good results we can show to our deans, and we get resources and time and a lot of resources. But now maybe I think you have a good point there.
Maybe we can just
It's the new era now. We know we get the
we can
resources.
just flow
We can flow.
with the storyline and with the story and the students and as colleagues.
Yeah.
I think that would be
Oh,
very
that would be so refreshing.
But I think now I'm going to be the
perfect.
Moderator.
well, no, I just to add to that, we still have the limitations of time. You know, we're not in a classroom, and we have a long storyline, as opposed to, I know what's going on in some other colleges where it's a day that they do storyline or 2 days. You know, we've been able to get our administrators, and we need to think that support we have from our administration, both financially and time-wise, to run these long storylines in comparison to the grade school or a regular school, where, like we heard on Friday, Camilla, where there's a class that did it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 1 hour a week, 5 weeks. We don't have that option here. So there's a lot, a story is a little bit, it'll be compact no matter how we do it.
But I had a funny thought apropos what you said, Ragnhild, that one could do research on what would it be like to do a storyline without research.
Or maybe you could come and do research on my storyline because you're not in it.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's a chance. There's definitely.
That's the challenge for you.
Just
Because we
excuse
do
me,
have
Virginia, are you looking at the time?
No, I am not, of course not. Because we could talk for a long time. We have it's a 11:45. Is that correct? Or 10:10? 11:45, so we only have 1 more minute?
Yep.
Okay, so what we have discussed, if I can wrap up what we have discussed, we've really only come to discussing challenges, and which, if I could sum up what I heard, activity trap, what we considered as a challenge, understanding of what storyline is, a common understanding, a focus on the subject, the push and pull, too much focus, not enough focus on the subject, and that whole extra hat of research that we have on us. Those are the challenges. Within that conversation, we did talk about things that we're working on, what we want to go on with in the future, possibly no research, a research group that's been done. We haven't got to talk about ourselves as professional developers, so we will have to do another panel at another time.
Yes, thank you so much, everybody, for a really interesting roundtable discussion. And we have, of course, many questions, and we could have talked for a long time about these subjects. But I think it was very important. You said that we, as teacher educators, we have to work. You talked before about cooperative learning. We have also to have a team. We learn together and we have fun together. We have to show the students. And I think agency is a very important word here, both for us and for our students. We must be teachers with agency to stand up for things we think are important. So thank you so much, and we have to discuss this more in the future. So thank you so much. We have to leave now, but I stop the recording here.
Oh, så koselig.